Hello everybody, good afternoon. Today is June 12th, 2022. This is the next update video on the Supertunia Vista window boxes. So right now it's about 90 degrees and it's starting to get really hot out. The next couple of days actually are going to be in the hundreds here. And it's going to take a lot of watering to make sure these stay looking good. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been fertilizing every third watering, which is what Proven Winners recommends on their fertilizer, the water-soluble fertilizer. So I'll take you around this way. So the hose is right here. It's really good to have it that close to the window boxes. And basically twice a day, usually right before the sun hits at around 11:30 in the morning is when I'll water them the first time. And then when the sun sets at around 7 o'clock is when I water them the second time. I've been trying to, make sure that they don't go too long without waterings. That's why I do it like that, because if you only water them once a day, they're gonna start to lose flowers. So you need to water them as much as possible. I know that from what I read that they don't like extremely hot weather, but we're just gonna have to see how they hold up because we don't really have a choice. It's gonna be between 100 and 102 tomorrow and on Tuesday. But everything's looking good. It's starting to grow tremendously in all directions. I mean, to the point where, it looks like I'm gonna have to start cutting these bushes back here because they're gonna start to touch the bushes at some point. And I know that's from the extra fertilizer. It definitely is making them grow a lot. And when you get up close, you can actually see that there's flower buds everywhere. Some people say you have to cut them back at some point. I know you do, but just look right there. There's a cluster of about 4 flowers that are gonna come up, and it's like that everywhere. I mean, there's hundreds of flowers all the time on this, but it's just amazing to see just how aggressive it grows. So we're gonna go over here to these ones that actually have made a ton of progress recently since I moved them, which you saw in the previous video. So here's the Jazzberry, which still isn't flowering anywhere near as good as the bubblegums or even its next door neighbor, the Fuchsia. But it's actually at least legging out finally. Some of the window box still remains visible, but they're doing a little better. I'm fertilizing them just like the bubblegums. So every third watering. Here's the Fuchsia, which are really pouring over now. This entire side is completely past the window box. They look good. They're flowering pretty well. And again, I'll take you up top to see what it looks like from the other side to show you again what I did. So you can see they used to pour over this way, and I thought it was a waste to have all that growth and all those flowers pouring over this way instead of being visible. So I pushed them all forward. I didn't cut back anything. And I had some of these little bamboo sticks lying around. So I just pushed them forward and left the bamboo sticks in place to kind of hold them there. And now I can probably remove the sticks because they've kind of gotten used to growing in their new position. And you can see since then, all this new growth has popped up. So it's gonna take a little bit, but it's gonna start to really fill in, I believe. Same thing with the Fuchsia, which have just grown better than the Jazzberry. The Jazzberry by far are the worst performing. But same thing here. Just pretty much pushed everything that I could forward to get them into as much sunlight as possible. And I think it probably is gonna help them grow better too. Since the last video, I added new soil to the boxes because it was getting a little low and the roots were showing. So before I did that, I added some of the Proven Winners slow release fertilizer, and then I poured new soil on top of it. So that'll help retain even more water, which is good for the hot days. The more soil, the more water retention. That's how it goes. And now that I added the extra dose of the slow release fertilizer, at least for the next month or two, pretty much every watering, it gets a little release. As you can see right here, there's some exposed roots, so I need to add even more fertilizer because you shouldn't have too many, or if any, roots being exposed to the open air. And actually, here's one of the slow release pellets that I put in there, but I put a lot in there. So that's what's new with these boxes. Now we'll go down here and see the window boxes for the garage. There's the Paradise, which is just shocking to see where this started compared to where it is. There's a lot of green growth still, but it's all healthy growth. There's just flower buds coming up absolutely everywhere. And again, you know, this is not a south-facing house, so they're not gonna get the full sun exposure that Proven Winners recommends, which is 6+ hours. Right here, we get sun from about 1:15 in the afternoon all the way to about 6:45. If it was a south-facing house, you'd be getting direct sunlight at about 11 o'clock in the morning. So those extra 2 or 3 hours of sunlight really help them flower more, but this is still very impressive for about 4 hours of sunlight every day. That's all it is, about 4.5 hours. But as you can see, there's just new growth everywhere. They want to flower everywhere. They just keep throwing new flowers. Everything looks really healthy, and they're very thirsty all the time. I added the slow release fertilizer to this one too, and I added some new soil to the back of it. And I'll show you a up close of a couple of these flowers. There you go. Then over here, the Silverberry, which actually is flowering, I think, almost as good, if not better, almost as good as the bubblegums. I mean, from the street, you almost can't see any green. There's just that many white flowers everywhere. Same thing, I fertilized, just everything is the same. Every third watering, they're all watered twice a day, morning and night. I added some new soil to this box, and I added some slow release fertilizer to it as well, and it's just the same thing. There's flowers everywhere, and then there's new flower buds that are gonna pop up everywhere. They're growing very, very well. One of the last remaining window boxes here that actually have not been fully covered up yet, you can still see there's a little bit of area. I'm thinking in the next, between the Silverberry box and the Fuchsia and the Jazzberry, I think in the next 2 weeks they're pretty much going to be covered up completely, which I'll be exciting to see finally, when it's just a big ball of flowers and nothing else. So the only tough thing is when I do fertilize them, it's a little hard because when I water them, I can actually go up to the side like this, and I can get the hose right in here. Well, when I'm fertilizing, I have to get out the watering can, and the only way to do that is to get up on a ladder from inside the garage and do it that way. So it takes a little time and effort, but if you put in the effort, it does pay off. It definitely does pay off. Yeah, those actually, the Fuchsia, I think I do like the Fuchsia, the color a little more than the Paradise. They're kind of similar, but the Fuchsia, just very nice. And now what I'll do is I'll go down to the street again and show you again what it looks like from the street. I know I did this in the last video. And there we are. As you can see again, the bubblegum are just absolutely colossal. I mean, it just looks like a gigantic pink ball is just growing out of the side of the house. It looks huge. When you look at the rest, As you can see, a little bit of the Jazzberry box is still showing, and a little bit of the Fuchsia, and the Fuchsia really does actually look pretty good. I mean, it's dense with flowers. As you get over there, the Silverberry again is just kind of stealing the show. The Paradise still has to flower a little better, and I might have to trim those bushes right there because they kind of cover up how it looks from the street. But nonetheless, very impressive. And that'll be it for this video, and I will catch you next weekend. Thank you.